Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moto 2, round number 8 of IndyHog at Lafayette GP again. Let's go through the starting order right to left. Matt, Vulcan, Camby, Roman, Soul, Hunter, Detail, Elite, Solange, and Luke rounding out the field. Now, all those points that we discussed in Moto 1, I think are going to make this Moto 2 a very interesting race. Someone's going to have to make some good moves to take the win. Green flag. We're going to the first turn. And pretty nice. I'm kind of surprised. I thought that first turn would have been more brutal on the start tonight, but not too bad. Oh, Matt sends it into the rock turn. Ends up getting in a little too hot. Goes down early. Almost like a 4 wide down the straight there. Driver's going way off track. Little rock action coming in. Lots of battles in the backpack here. Meanwhile, up front, Vulcan's gotten away with a really nice gap. Camby and Soul have a little bit of breathing room, but this is just an all-out slugfest back here. And these spots are super important. Like, if you can take them, you have to take them. Again, the passes are so difficult. Any moves you can make on these first few laps when the pits are closed be very beneficial to your race, potentially. So 1 lap down, pits still closed to the end of this lap as well. So no strats coming in too early. Vulcan just with a great lead. Couldn't really dream for a better start to the race for him. Obviously the first moto was rough, not ideal, but he's off to a really good one in Moto 2 so far, and see if we can hold on to it. Camby leading down the pack, though, at the moment. Kind of similar to what we saw in Moto 1 with one driver way out and then just massive pack behind. Yeah, so Camby and Soul holding that second and third position. I believe Hunter and Roman 4th and 5th. Ooh, gotta watch out for the dish. Don't cheese it too hard. So again, pits still closed, but now that we've completed this lap, pits will be open this next time around. Solange with an aggressive move to the middle. What in the hell? I almost want to go back and see that. How did that start? Battling here for... Oh, here we go. So yeah, Hunter's all the way up there. Roman and Solange, and I think Roman gets a little loose on the inside. He slides out of the line. Solange keeps it on the inside. Hunter has a look to the outside of Soul and Camby. That slows him down. Roman and Solange come in hot and ends up working out to a 3 wide battle here. Oh, how are they making it work so far? Nobody wants to give an inch. They all know how important these spots are. Roman all the way into the rocks. Brutal for him, but in the end of it, Solange ends up gaining another position, and that's already a couple, maybe a few positions that he's made up on track. He may even have the most on track positions made up early on in the race. That's got to be a really good sign for him so far. That being said, Roman having a look to his inside there, but it's going to be hard to make the move in the chicane. Pits are open now. Any takers? Let's see. We're going to have at least a couple. Soul and Hunter go in. And they both do. I love it. They both do the same strategy. Soul and Hunter both rip a quick 1-bullet pit. And they are going to shoot up the order, as you'd imagine. But interestingly enough, I'm kind of surprised. It wasn't enough to take the lead away from Vulcan. It was not enough to take the lead away from Vulcan for either of them. That kind of shocks me. I figured it would have been. I guess Vulcan had a way bigger lead than I thought. I mean, obviously it was a big lead, but I didn't think it was that big. That was a pretty sizable one for him. But either way, Hunter and Soul pick up a lot of track position there. Get away from the pack. Can kind of run their own race for a bit. That might be beneficial for them. As you can see, it's still just brutal here in the back. Slaunch trying to hold on from Roman. Oh, no! And Elite, I don't know. I don't remember what exactly it was with this setup or what happened here, but for whatever reason, stops right in the middle of the track and right in front of Luke and Detail, and then runs him out to the wall too on the exit of it. That's going to cost them all a ton of time, and that's going to be brutal. Luke and Detail are going to send it into the pits right after that, as you have drivers potentially in the competition for the overall. All three of them potentially in competition for the overall. That was your first and third and fourth place finishers all involved in that, all overall contenders in this Moto 2, and that's going to slow them down a ton right there. And yeah, what happened was, whatever happened with Elite, whatever technical issue he had, whatever forced him to stop, I don't recall exactly what it was, he ends up slowing down the middle of the track. Luke gets into the back of him, and then Detail gets into the back of Luke, which is not going to be very beneficial. Now, if Luke were a thick Latina instead, that may have been pretty beneficial, but obviously not the case. What a fucking wheelie out of Matt. Just randomly, that was pretty sick. But yeah, obviously not the case. So don't think Detail's gonna be too happy with that. You know, the other situation would have been pretty happy, but not gonna be helping the race out for either of them. And then even for Elite, whatever it was that caused that, I mean, it slows him down too. He obviously lost a lot of time himself. So all three of them losing out on a ton right there. And yeah, it's certainly not going to help their race. And it's a big moment to cover in the race because, again, that's three of your potential overall contenders involved in that. You have the winner from the first moto, and you have the third and fourth place finishers, all positions that generally would be considered in the overall hunt in the second one. And yeah, that could potentially take them out of it. We'll see. And the big gainer from it, with very good potential at taking it tonight, I would say, is Slaunch. Now, we already covered, like, he had a lot of on-track moves. His first few laps before the pits were open were, I don't know, gained 2 or 3 positions on track. You really can't dream for much more than that on this track. Like, that's pretty ideal, I would say. So gained a lot of positions on track. He's obviously got speed that we saw from the first moto. And now with that incident slowing down his, like, 3 main competitors, you got to think that's going to help out Slaunch a ton. And he may even be in control of this race. We don't know for the moto win at the moment, but for the overall, I think it's fair to say that he might even be in control of this race after that. But it's going to be hard to call exactly how that looks until all the pits cycle out, of course. Because we still, for example, have Vulcan up here in first, Hunter in second, Soul in third, and as you can see, the gaps are pretty big, so there's still some pit action going on. Slaunch is up to fourth on track. Detail fifth, Roman sixth, Luke seventh, Elite eighth, and Matt ninth. And I missed it. Camby lags out again. We even hit the reset as well. Yeah, there's just only, I don't know, man. I don't know. Whatever he could do to help the situation. Hopefully he can figure it out. It's brutal. But yeah, unfortunately, she's out of that one. Slaunch going in for his pit. I believe his first, I want to say his first pit. Yeah, I think that's actually his first pit. And you can see he gains time. He was in fourth place. He comes out right in front of Soul. And I think that is very important. And he's going to complete the pass. And I think that was very important. The fact that Slaunch shot however many bullets he did, the exact amount of bullets, I think if he did, hell, even like 1 or 2 more, I'm not sure if he gets the pass on Soul there, but he shot the perfect amount to come out right in front of Soul, or at least like side by side with him enough to eventually come out in front of him, complete the pass later on. And that could be very important. Again, like getting behind him there, if Slaunch has the pace, like that's not going to help, obviously. So the fact that he was able to make that pit work where he was just able to get by him, yet another thing that is working out for Slaunch in this race. And yeah, he's going to be on for a good one. That's one good pit down. If he can nail the second one, it's going to be looking very strong. I think it's safe to say he'd be on for at least a podium. Soul goes in for his second, and it was a very, very long one. Had to do a lot of shots. I believe Hunter was on that same strategy where they both like shot a bullet in the first pit, and You could tell they had to do quite a few in the second one. And it was kind of close, and like Slaunch stayed in front of him. So again, like it's close. I'm not sure what it is for that 23 bullet pit. Like I don't, maybe a little bit of the skill and how quickly you come into your pit. Like maybe if you get a really good stop, it's still a shortcut. Maybe if you get an average one, it's more of like equal. Maybe it's a little hard to say. What's definitely not hard to say though is that the 1 to like 3 bullet pit is a massive gain. No matter how well you do your pit, how well you get into your stall, it's a massive gain. You would have to really mess something up for it to not be. But here we go. Still many drivers with pits to go, and probably like 6-ish laps through the race. That was Roman there, and this is huge. Comes out side by side with Slaunch. Another big pit moment for Slaunch, but as you can see, he had just enough of a run to defend from Roman. The way Slaunch's last 2 pit moments played out so well for him, he was able to make the pass on Sol with his pit, and then defending from Roman's, he was able to hold on to that position. Both of those moves were very important for Slaunch's race, I would say, and it's going to help him out in his pace and really put him in a good position here. That being said, Vulcan and Hunter still leading this one. But like I said, we got to watch that stuff. Those moments are important because the pit strat, it's the name of the game. Like, I think the pit strats are the race here at Lafayette. Now, here comes Hunter. This is going to be a long one. So we'll get that example. Remember, he was in front of Slaunch. Oh, here we go. Oh, he just gets him. He just gets him. So there, again, I don't know, because Sol didn't really get the gain there with Hunter. It looks like he might have actually gained a little bit with his 23 bullet stop on Slaunch, or at the very least, I don't think he lost any, really, or, you know, it was, like, marginal. So, again, that long pit on this track is, like, at worst, still, like, even. It is crazy. It's such a wrench to throw in the works here for these drivers on this track. Like, just being used to how the pit strategies work out, being used to the long pit, being used to, you know, how to manipulate that for your race strategy, and then just throwing it completely on its head for this track and being like, yeah, you know, think the opposite now. Figure it out and figure out what you want to do and how you want to handle it. Yeah, interesting to see how they have handled it and how they've adapted to it. So another lap down, another pit coming in. Luke going in for a quick stop there. I believe still, and a good exit there too. He might even have just worked his way in. Yep, to make the pass on Roman. A big exit there for Luke as well. And I think him and Slaunch, well, Slaunch for sure. What we're looking at here, they might be done actually. Slaunch might be the only person that still has a pit to take. Besides potentially, well, no, I think Matt would be done too. So yeah, I believe the situation that we're looking at here is that Slaunch is waiting all the way to the last moment. And I believe he is the only one with a pit left to take. So what you're looking at, oh no, another tumble. Was it Roman again? Let's get a replay on that. This part of the track is the deadly one, costing the race and positions of several drivers. Was it Roman again? It was Sol. It was Sol this time. Oh, no. Now, luckily for him, he does not lose position on track, though. So that could have been worse, but he was just trying to gain. Honestly, that's not that bad of a wreck for Sol. He didn't really have much to lose, so I respect it. But here we go. Slaunch, yep, he should be going in. Believe this should be his last pit and the last pit of the race. He's done it. He's off. And he's got the lead, and it's a massive gap. I didn't expect it to be that big. But yeah, you can tell, absolutely massive gap. All the strategies, and probably the most important of all of them would be the early, looking all the way back to the beginning of the race, like those early lap passes might have been the biggest role here, I think, potentially. But yeah, a combination of those and the close calls, the close battles on track, with his pit exits, and it ends up getting him a lot of time. Obviously, he had the pace to support it too, and he comes out of that final pit with just a huge gap on Vulcan. So Slaunch with a big lead here. Vulcan's still holding on to second, though. Still holding on to second. Hunter's still third. Great run for them. And Vulcan didn't have a great first moto, but Hunter had a pretty decent one, so Hunter might be in a good position for a good finish on the night here. Luke's recovered his way up to fourth, but Slaunch will absolutely be in the position for the overall right now. Unless something crazy happens between Vulcan and Hunter that Luke can take advantage of. Roman, 5th, currently Soul 6th, Detail 7th. Man, Detail 7th, I want to say Elite 8th. Yeah, that's brutal for them. Fighting for 3rd and 4th and fighting for podiums, fighting for 2nd. All of last race to now be in those positions. That first incident was just brutal for them. But here we go. We're going to be coming to the white flag this time by. About halfway through the lap here. And again, something's going to need to go down between Vulcan and Hunter, rather, for this overall to shake up. Because right now, Slaunch is absolutely in control of it. New dad needs that diaper money. The overalls pay it out. He's going to be going for it here. White flag for Slaunch. One more lap. Try to earn some more diaper money. Let's see if we can do it. Just needs to hold on. He's got a massive gap. Can kind of chill, honestly. Could probably change diapers with that amount of gap, I would say. And still hold on to the lead. But again, as far as the overall is concerned, the real players at question here are Vulcan and Hunter, because Luke's not going to be able to do this on pace. They would have to do some type of cheese to mix up this overall. And let's see if it happens. I think Slaunch should be looking pretty safe at this point. Oh, Hunter gets off the track just a little bit there. That's going to cost him some time. That may be it for any chance that he would have at a look at Vulcan. And now Luke gains a lot and kind of has a look, but I don't think that's going to be enough either. And even then, would need a couple positions. One would not do it. Here we go. Final corner, earning the diaper money. Slaunch going to take the win in Moto 2 and the overall here at Lafayette. Vulcan 2nd, Hunter 3rd, Luke 4th. Roman will take 5th, Soul 6th, Detail 7th, Elite 8th. Matt is going to have 9th, and Camby, the unfortunate DNF, of course, lagging out earlier. All right, so let's go through it. I actually have to pull it up real quick because